This is everything, and I mean everything you need to know about the 4-3-3. In possession, out of possession, attacking transition, and defensive transition. Let's get straight into it. So, you have your back four, your left back, two centre backs, and your right back. You have your central defensive midfielder if you're playing a 1 and then with 2 8s, or it's a 4-2-3-1, which is a topic for another video. So for now, we are only going to focus on this one here, where you have one central defensive midfielder and 2 8s. Then you have your front three, where it's meant to be chaos. You're meant to create chaos. And the only front three I can think of right now is MSN. Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. What a front three that was. If you haven't ever watched them play, go to YouTube right now and type in FC Barcelona 2015 full matches and watch one game. And then come back to this video and finish this video off. Okay, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get back into the video. With the 4-3-3, you have your two centre backs, and if they can be very composed on the ball, it creates more opportunities to really build effectively from the back. And the reason is this diamond right here. Your centre defensive midfielder, your left-sided centre back, your left back, and then your left-sided 8. And if you notice the diamond on this side, you have your right centre back, your centre defensive midfielder, your right back, and then your right-sided 8. So straight away, you have 2 diamonds on the pitch. Actually, you have 3 diamonds because you have your goalkeeper, 2 centre backs, and your centre defensive midfielder. Now, with these diamonds, guess what? There are triangles. Now, I know this is not a maths lesson, but if you look at this diamond here, if I were to draw another line here, now we have a triangle. So we have 2 triangles in 1 diamond. Look at the passing options. Look at the passing angles that can be created with effective movement and positioning. So within this diamond, there can be that rotation. The left back can drop very deep. The 10 can really drift out wide. Or the 3 goes very high and the 10 drops in. Or simply put, they stay in their position, they move a couple yards left or right, up and down to receive the ball. And with the back 4, if you're playing against a 4-3-3, you have a 4v3 overload. If you want to use your goalkeeper, it becomes a 5v3. So for example, the opposition will be set up in a 4-3-3, and straight away you can notice that there is a back 4 against a front 3. So that's a 4v3 overload, which allows for the pass to go from here to here, out to here, and maybe this one is the outlet because it's a 4v3. Or if the opposition press very effectively where the 9 cuts off this side of the pitch, that's when the number 6 can get involved. So with the 10 pressing the 6, it could be a pass into there, a slow pass to allow a quick pass out to the free player. Or if this 11 is now pressing the centre back, it goes into the 6 and then out to this player. So that's why that 4v3 must be utilised, because there is always a spare player when the opposition are pressing with 3 players in their front line. And if you want to use the goalkeeper, the centre backs can split, and that allows for the fullbacks to really push on or drift into these central areas here. Just by using your goalkeeper, it frees up a player further up the pitch. Now, I go into this level of detail with every single formation within the game of football. Check it out down below in the link in my description, my full formations guide, where I talk about in possession, out of possession, attacking transition, defensive transition for every single formation. Now back to the video. So it could be where the 6 drops in to create that base diamond in build up, where you have your goalkeeper, 2 centre backs and centre defensive midfielder. Your 3 and 2, your left back, right backs could really push up, and now you have a back 3 with your 2 centre backs and your centre defensive midfielder. Your 2-8 are now playing as 2 centre midfielders, and now you've created a 3-4-3. So that 4-3-3 formation, just notice how quickly it can transition into a 3-4-3. Just another way to build out from the back. And with how modern football is right now, there are so many in possession changes within the formation. So you start off with the 4-3-3, but when you have the ball, when the centre back, for example, has the ball, the shape could be that the fullback really goes high, the winger tucks in, and the 10 drops in to create a box midfield like that, with the other winger staying very wide, and now you have a back 3. The 3-2-5, as we call it, a very popular formation used in modern football. And the reason is you have the 3, 7, 8 and 11 occupying all 5 lanes of the pitch. So you have the 8 and the 7 in the half spaces. The left back is very high in the outside space, so is the winger on the other side, and then the 9 is in the central space. You have 5 players occupying all 5 lanes, and that allows for more effective build-up. And we've seen so many teams like Arsenal, like Man City use this method. So they start in the 4-3-3, but when they have the ball, they change to another shape. And this is just one shape. The other shape is what Chelsea do with the 3-1-3-3. So you have like a diamond in the midfield, and then you have your front 3. And whichever shape they use in possession, the reason is to just create problems for the opposition. If you always play in that 4-3-3, the opposition might always press in a way where it suffocates you, where it nullifies your threats. But if you can transition into a shape where it commits 5 players onto the last line, it creates more space here in build-up. Your 2-8s are really important to operate on different lines. So you have your centre defensive midfielder here. When the centre-back steps with the ball, this player can shift across. Now, if these 2 players can work on different lines, the centre-back has more options on the ball. So for example, the 10 could drop in here and the 8 could go there. Or the 10 moves away and suddenly the 8 drops into this space. Now notice how now they are in a ladder, they are in a straight line. But guess what? When the ball, for example, finds the 8 who's running towards the ball here, the 8 can just set the 6, move out of the way, the 10 could get it, set the 8, and now the 8 can play forward. A very simple midfield rotation, focusing on zigzag passing, on 2-3 touch football in a triangle, pass and move, and that's how your team can progress from the build-up phase into the attacking third of the pitch. And then your front 3, as we said at the start of the video, create chaos. Please, the front 3 needs to create chaos. Now, if the ball is with this left winger, this left back can now get involved in the attack, because when this left back overlaps or underlaps, then the rest of the back 4, which is now the back 3, they can shuffle across to make sure if something happens here and the ball is lost, they are there to win it back aggressively and restart the attack. That's the defensive transition bit. So defensive transition means you've lost the ball, can we win it back instantly? Defensive transition, counter press. It's about winning it back in that moment, especially when you have a very strong rest defense. And that's what rest defense is about, is to nullify the threat when you lose the ball. So by having the rest of your back 4 shuffle across as your left back pushes up, that allows your team to attack more freely and comfortably, knowing that if they lose the ball, they have a procedure there to win it back. And ideally, the 2 wingers in the 4-3-3 are different types of wingers. So you might have one winger that's a very dangerous 1v1 who will cut in and shoot or go down the line and cross. And then the other winger could be a very simple touch and cross. So every time the winger gets the ball, touch, cross the ball into the box, create chaos, create problems in that dangerous zone for the opposition. That is the most important thing for that front 3. And then the number 9 has to have very good anticipation, has to be a menace in the penalty box, be a nuisance for the centre-backs. Maybe in build-up, when the centre defensive midfielder has the ball, the 9 drops in for a set and then a spin in behind. So if they can link up play and then spin and finish, that's your perfect number 9. Just simply watch Luis Suarez at Barcelona and at Liverpool. Now, out of possession, it just depends on the coach and the coaching philosophy. So some teams like to really sit back in the compact 4-5-1 shape, because simply put, the 4-3-3, if the wingers drop back and the centre midfielders drop back, it's a 4-5-1. Now, some coaches say, no, we want to be very aggressive. We want to be very aggressive, high press, 4-3-3, and really get our fullbacks to press the opposition fullbacks and leave our centre-backs in 1v1 situations. That's a very high aggressive pressing system. We've seen Chelsea do it, where they go into a 3-4-2-1 out of possession to really suffocate the opposition. But whichever system is employed, if that back 4 is very solid and they can drop at the right times to head the ball, when it comes to dealing with long balls, the centre defensive midfielder has to screen and ideally stay in line with the ball. So if this centre-back has the ball, there are some teams where the winger will cut off the pass to the full-back because the left-back will press the right-back. And the winger is left with one of the centre-backs because the centre defensive midfielder goes on to the 9, the 2 goes up, and that's how aggressive man-to-man it is. If you notice, it's literally a 3-4-2-1 because it's man-for-man all across the pitch. The 2 wingers pressing the centre-backs, the 9 screening the pass into the centre defensive midfielder, very similar to what Barcelona are doing right now and Chelsea, but that's one way of pressing. The point of this is to force the pass centrally to create turnovers in central areas to create goal scoring opportunities. Because if this player plays the pass into the middle with aggressive pressure, the whole point is they can win it, and look at the situation, they are in the centre of the pitch where the goal is. So ideally that should create a higher chance of scoring a goal. Now there are other teams that will be a bit more conservative in their 4-5-1, where they'll have their back four very compact. The number 6 will be screening passes into the back line, and then the 7 and the 11 really focus on forcing play out wide. So man for man in the middle, and then the whole point is that you let the pass go to the right back. As the pass goes, they're using the touchline as an extra defender, and the 7 is now pressing the right back. The whole point is that you stop progression here. The 7 might show for the ball, the left back will be touch tight, and then the rest of the back four will shuffle across. And as we said with the centre defensive midfielder, in line with the ball, the 8 might be making a run, but that's where it's man for man in the middle, leaving the opposite number 10 free, but that's when the winger focuses on that one and the 10 just covers that space. And now that's a very compact shape where this 2 might step with the ball, but with aggressive pressure, it's about affecting the quality of the pass. So maybe they play a ball in behind, can the centre-backs deal with it? Or if the 2 cuts back to play it back to the centre-back, it's about quickly getting back into shape, and then the number 9 having to cut off the pass to one side of the pitch. So the 9 immediately shuts off this side of the pitch, and now it's about really being compact and letting the play go wide. That's the key in that compact 4-5-1 shape. And now in moments where the team could be defending in their own half, the way to go from defence into attack, which is now attacking transition, is to let the number 8 and the left back and the left-sided centre-back and the centre defensive midfielder deal with the threat on one side of the pitch and keep the winger and the striker high. So the right centre-back has the ball, the 9 cuts off the pass, the centre-back will step, maybe they can float a ball into the 7's chest. This 8 might be making a run and this right back might be overlapping. Now instead of getting the winger to track that overlap, as this fullback goes ahead of the winger, the 8 gets involved here. This 8 might be making a forward run, the centre-back can really focus on that 8, and the centre defensive midfielder and the opposite number 10 really shuffle across. So you're essentially defending with 7 players. The back 4 and the midfield 3 really working together to make sure that if they can win the ball, let's say the 7 plays a pass into this space, into the 8, if the centre-back can win it, all they have to do is play it over the top down the line, or maybe into the 8, one touch into the winger, and now straight away, just look at that counter-attacking opportunity. You have like a 3v3 and running at the opposition goal. But that starts from keeping the wingers high. So for example, if the ball's with your right back, you get your right-sided 8, the centre defensive midfielder, and the right centre-back. This little square to deal with any threats. Maybe the left back overlaps. Maybe the 10 makes an underlap, makes an overlap. Whatever it is, dealing with the threat, because straight away, look, it's a 4v3 here anyway, with the rest of the back 4 shuffled across. It's a 4v3, deal with the danger, and then, if you can win the ball, play into that winger who stayed high. And that is a very effective way of turning defence into attack in moments of attacking transition, which is when you've won the ball, can you exploit the opposition? That right there is a game changer.